Welcome to Talking About. My name is Keven McGill and I'm your host for this month. In this episode of Baby on Board, we have two incredible guests, Sabine and Molly, who will talk us through the exciting journey of parenthood and everything in between, and the incredible support for parents and carers at Sky. Sabine,
Hi.
Molly, welcome. You feeling excited?
I am actually. I think this is like a topic I'm really passionate about, and it's great to obviously meet Molly as well. So, and yourself.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. Sabine, obviously, it's the first time I'm meeting you. Molly, I know you very well.
Yeah.
However, I'm really excited to hear both of your journeys. First up, before we get into the conversation, Sabine, tell us a bit about yourself, just for our listeners, for me.
Yeah, so I work in Sky Data. So my day-to-day role is projects and strategy lead. So I look after the people strategy for the department, which is really good fun. But alongside that, I'm also the returners leave for parents and carers at Sky. I've got a 2.5-year-old called Oscar. Yeah, that's basically me.
Fabulous. Good to meet you in person. And Molly.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been at Sky about 5.5 years, but current role, I'm a learning specialist. And yeah, I've been doing that coming up 2 years. So all pretty exciting stuff. And I am expecting, which is why I'm here. So yeah, all very exciting.
Fabulous. Cool. Before we get into the questions, I mean, what's your vocal ability like, guys?
Shocking.
Same. Molly?
Need a couple drinks, obviously. Not currently, but yeah.
So if you did have a couple of drinks, obviously not currently.
Yeah.
Molly, we'll come to you first. What would your karaoke song be?
Well, to be fair, past experiences, I always drag someone else up with me. It's got to be Islands in the Stream. It's got to be a bit of, Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton. I'm Dolly, of course. So that's, got to be the go-to.
Fabulous. Excellent. Sabine, what about you?
So I'm terrible. I'm so bad at it. I have to have a lot of shots of Patron before I get anywhere near it. But I used to go for, in my wilder days, I used to go for anything by Kate Nash, so like Fundamentals or anything like that I could just talk and speak and it sounds like I'm singing. Yeah, that's basically it.
See, when you say wilder days, I feel like this was last week or something.
No longer like that.
Yeah, I'm the same. Mine would be, if you are interested, Candy Staton, You've Got the Love. It's one of those songs that just gets me revved, like
you get
before
everyone
interviews.
singing as well, don't you?
Totally.
Yeah.
And everyone knows the words, which is fab. Cool. Brilliant. Well, let me know next time you're on karaoke and I'll be there. I might even be Kenny for you, Molly. Oh.
Do it.
Molly, Dolly.
Well, exactly. There you go. Cozy Joe's.
So Kenny and Molly, no, if I get my words out, Kenny and Dolly could be Kev and Molly. Oh my goodness.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah.
There we go.
Right, guys, shall we move into all things parent then?
Let's do it.
Cool. Molly, we'll come to you first.
Yeah.
So obviously, as you've shared, you're expecting.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how did you feel when you first found out you were pregnant?
Honestly, so many different emotions. Like, you'll probably agree, I assume. But so I'm 31 weeks at the moment, and even now, I remember it like it was yesterday. So I literally remember sort of walking down to the pharmacy, getting my tests, being all excited to do the tests and stuff. I will be honest as well. So I did used to sort of vape before I got pregnant. So it was literally a case of, right, the vape is being left at home, banned until we know for definite. And yeah, literally was in the bathroom and I was just like, I was in shock. I was completely silent because I was like, oh my God, like this is amazing, but this is scary because my life is just going to absolutely change. But yeah, absolutely, I was over the moon.
And was your other half there with you as well at the same time?
So bless him, to be fair, he was actually outside of the room. So I'd like gone in because I know we've been together like a while, but I was a bit like awkward, didn't really want him in the room. And then I just understand. He was like, "What? Is it good? Like, are we happy? We're not happy? Like, what's going on?" And I was just silent. The poor bloke was just like, "What's going on?" And I just didn't say anything. And I kind of just really silently came out the bathroom and like handed in the stick. And then it was just sort of his face. I think he was then like mimicking me in shock, really, but like a happy shock.
Well, yeah. I mean, your life's changed forever, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sabine, that must resonate quite a bit with you then.
Oh, honestly, I think it was my husband sort of said to me on a dog walk, he was like, "You're really emotional." He was like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I think we need to take a test." And I remember we took the test together, but I was the same. I went into the toilet by myself. I feel like there's certain things that you just don't need to, And we both looked at it, and I burst into tears. Like, it was happy tears, but it was also kind of like a, oh my God. And we were getting married the year after as well. And I said to him, like, we've got this certain gap where if we fall pregnant, brilliant, but I don't want to be pregnant at the wedding. And yeah, I think I was in complete shock. And then he burst into tears, and it was lovely. It was really nice, but I had the same feeling. I was like, oh my God, my life is going to be completely different. But yeah, for the better.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So on that note, then, as a mum,
yeah,
we say mum in the north.
Oh yeah, mum.
Yeah, mum. As a mum, what would your advice be to Molly then, off your experiences so far of being a mum to little Aussie?
Do you know what? So not only is it completely life changing, and I think you go through this roller coaster of emotions from pregnancy onwards. You have, like, now I have like 15,000 things going through my brain every single minute. It's a lot, but it's the most rewarding, best thing that's ever happened to me. I love being a mum, absolutely love it. And my advice would be fully embrace maternity leave. Like, go to all the classes, speak to all the mums, make friends, go out every day, because you'll never get that time back. And even if you have a second, it's different. And I just, it was the best year of my life. I absolutely loved it. It was just like, you go to like baby sensory and all you do is just play with like glitter or music, and you're just sort of staring at them and they're looking at you for the first couple of months like, what are you doing? But it's just amazing. It's so rewarding, and get to know, like, women that are going through the same thing as you, because you will need them. There's a lot of, I guess, bizarre things that you can be warned about but not necessarily know at the time, and it's nice to message someone and be like, is this happening to you? Because this is a bit weird. And they're like, oh yeah, it's normal. So yeah, that's my advice. Just
Beautiful.
Enjoy it.
I can see how happy you are just talking about the whole.
He's completed our little family. He's great.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Well, on that note, Molly, speaking of family, so obviously we've just found out how you told your other half.
Yeah.
How did your family take the news? Although I'm saying that like it's all mysterious. How did your family take the news?
Well, to be honest with you, it was quite a funny experience telling them again as well, because it wasn't necessarily a case of like we were planning sort of like have a child and stuff. Like, this is going to be a little bit embarrassing actually admitting this, but like I was actually going to see Shwaddy Waddy like with my mum the night I told my parents.
What's Shwaddy Waddy?
Just like DISCO. I've just made this up.
No, it's like Under the Moon of Love. Oh, dead awful 70s stuff, but it would have been great had I been, allowed to have a drink and with my mum and get a bit tipsy. But do you know what? We still enjoyed it, still loved it. It was great. I had me, Diet Coke. It was great. But that was the reason we were sort of going down to York to see my parents. And I thought, right, well, tell them then. Because to be honest, a little bit early, but it was about 10 weeks at that point. But we thought, do you know what? It's near enough. We'll let them know at this point. It'd be nice to do it in person. So sort of sat them down. But my dad's one of them people where he's like, if we've got guests, it's always, I've got to make everyone a cuppa or get everyone a snack, something like that. We were like, oh, right, Dad, will you come in the living room? Just want to have a chat. And he's there like pottering about and stuff, like cutting up onions or something for the dinner. And I'm like, can you come in? And I'm like, and obviously leave the knife in the kitchen, please. Obviously, my other half definitely wanted him to, and stuff like that. But it was just hilarious. And then just sat them down, and basically we thought up different ways of doing it. Like, did we get like little scratch cards, something that said we're having a baby, or give them, seeing stuff like that online, or sort of like get up a little like sort of baby grow and stuff. But in the end, we just thought, no, do you know what? We'll just sit down, tell them, and they were absolutely over the moon. My mum. Well, she said she had suspicions, to be honest with you, so I let her off. I mean, she didn't say anything to me dad, so that she had suspicions, which was nice of her. But no, my dad was just like shook my fella's hand straight away, and he was absolutely buzzing. The first thing he did ask was what football team are they going to support, which is going to be a touchy subject. But
who a childish curse, Newcastle or Man City?
Yeah, because my dad's Mancunian. So proper strong blue, but. I think, unfortunately, it's going to have to be Newcastle, isn't it?
Okay, I will cross us to bear, I suppose. Thanks for that, Molly. Sabine, you mentioned how amazing, obviously, mat leave was.
Yeah.
Like, incredible time of your life, opportunity to bond with little Aussie. How did you feel about returning back from mat leave? And is there any tips you'd give any parents out there that are coming back soon?
Yeah, so I was quite nervous about coming back. Like I was really looking forward to having some adult time and adult conversation. However, I was leaving Aussie. I knew how expensive nursery was.
Oh.
Didn't know how much I really wanted to do the role that I was doing when I got back. Kind of felt like I needed to do a bit of a new start. Obviously loved Sky as a business overall. And I was just very much kind of, there was a lot of emotions going on. And then going into work, I just remember feeling completely lost. I felt like I was a completely different person, like physically, emotionally, and mentally. And coming back to work was this new chapter that, I don't know, just created a lot of anxiety. And I didn't quite know what my role was. Like, there was stuff like Skylearn and Workday that had like come out, and had no idea, you know, what these things were. And I think I just kind of felt really, completely out of it. I had no idea what I was doing. A lot of people that I knew had left or rotated or moved around. So hybrid working was in force, and I was like, well, what is going on? So I wouldn't say it was the best start back to work, but that's obviously why I then created the returners program, because I thought it's something that's so important. It's life changing when you come back from having a baby. You do feel very differently. Your priorities are different. You know, you need to feel like you're really doing something rewarding.
Yeah.
For leaving your kid. And that's why I wanted to make sure that other mums that came back would have something that can support them.
Which is incredible. It really is. I mean, how did you deal with that process then? So getting, I suppose, your emotions into check, your new priorities into check.
Yeah, so I remember calling up one of the girls that I used to work with, Stephanie, and I was just like, is this normal that I just feel completely out of it, like really confused? Like, 2 weeks ago I was at baby sensory, and now I'm trying to work out, you know, what's Workday, like how do I log this, you know, how do I speak to HR and all this stuff. And I think it's very much communicating, working with your manager to make sure that you've got a robust kind of road plan for the first couple of weeks to keep you focused as well. Because otherwise, you know, you're trying to sort of take in so much information. If you think, when you go on holiday for 2 weeks, you come back and you're already clueless as to what's happened.
Yeah.
If you think about like a year, so much has changed in the business like this. So I say definitely work with your manager to understand what you're going to be focusing on, what's your key kind of projects, you know, get time in with people in your teams, like have a look at the org chart, like things like that, and just have a bit of a plan, because then you can stick to something.
Absolutely.
Rather than just kind of wondering the what if.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's your thoughts on what Sabrine just said there, Molly?
Yeah, really good point. I mean, what you were saying there about like even annual leave, like it is quite daunting coming back, especially within the learning space as well. Everything changes so quickly.
Especially at
So I
Sky.
think, well, and that's it really. So it's like, I think having those sort of, as you said, like constant conversations and stuff, keeping in the know, will make it a lot easier. Because I think that is one thing that I am a little bit nervous about, even though I haven't even sort of like given birth yet. It's thinking ahead, okay, in a year's time, gosh, like where am I going to be? What's like the situation, that sort of thing.
I think there are certain things that you can control and certain things you can't control. So obviously Sky is a business where a lot of things change all the time, and those are the sort of things you can't control.
Yeah.
But the things that you can do is like, so we created, with the help of loads of mums, a checklist for you when you come back to keep you kind of, you know, structured, but then also for your manager. So your manager's got a checklist of stuff like, does your pass still work? If you've got a corporate credit card, is that still working? Are there any training that you're missing out on, compliance, stuff like that? You know, any new systems that have come in like Workday that's relevant. So they've got a plan as to, let's keep you on track, but also let's give you the reassurance. Like, managers are encouraged to check in with you to find out how you are, rather than just how's work going, because that's one of the big things, is that you need empathy, you need somebody who's going to support you. And, you know, there's going to be stages where if your child goes to nursery, I mean, the chances are they could pick up every single bug you could possibly imagine.
Come in.
And you get the dreaded phone call like midday from nursery, and it just says, Sabine, Oscar's got a temperature. You're going to have to come and get him. And you're just like, you go and pick him up, and he's like bouncing off the walls, absolutely fine. But you then can't go back in for 2 days. So it's working with your managers to sort of make sure that you know that's okay for you to do that, and
Yeah.
they have to be able to support you with that. So little things like that, I think managers play a massive part in a successful return, to be honest with you.
I'd agree with that from experience of Pat and Matt Leave on my
Yeah.
team. It's some of those things that, you know, people class as the basics and the little things are really important for
Yeah.
people to be included and, you know, return back into the business seamlessly. So that's such a good point.
Yeah, and like everyone's experience is very different. You have some mums that go back and straight away they're absolutely fine and they can just continue, and you know where they picked off and they have a fantastic time. You've got some mums that are quite anxious about leaving their child for the first time potentially. You've got some people that are coming back not quite sure what to expect. Their team might have changed, their role might have changed. So without your manager support, it's a lot harder, and it's something that should just be the norm, that managers, you know, understand that.
Absolutely.
And you know, that's the thing, if you don't give them the tools and resources to support it, it's not their fault.
Absolutely. You've mentioned quite a bit about work and support and feeling nervous. For you, Molly, how did your colleagues take the news when you had your announcement?
So they actually took it really well. I mean, a few people were really shocked because they didn't really expect sort of me to want to have a chance. So I've always said in the past, like, I'm so career driven, like, oh nah, not for at least sort of 5 or 6 years and stuff like that. But absolutely, yeah, over the moon for me. We're really supportive. Andy, bless him, who I work close by with,
I'm
obviously.
familiar with Andy.
Yeah, literally offering to carry me bags and stuff, and I'm like, aren't you, hun?
Oh.
But yeah, dead nice and stuff like that. But just everyone's just been dead like helpful and stuff, asking how I am, asking how everything's going. The Newcastle service operation were really supportive as well, because I've come from a service background, so I was originally a customer service advisor. So they posted something on their little like Newcastle Facebook page about it and stuff, with like the little scan pictures. Because there's another couple as well that are
Gorgeous.
expecting at a similar time. Yeah, so they did them both together. So it was really nice, and it was nice that we could kind of share that moment as like two couples as well, so it didn't feel as daunting, which was nice.
Yeah, gorgeous. Molly, this is it. It's real. It's happening.
I know. It's scary but exciting.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Sabine, you've mentioned quite a bit, obviously, Parents and Carers Network,
Mm-hmm.
and you've mentioned the checklist.
Yeah.
What else is there for people, you know, returning or just in support in general, even when they're on mat leave?
So there's quite a lot on there now. So what we did is we worked with a consultant, an external consultant who focuses on on-demand workshops. So we got them to create some 20-minute bite-sized sessions, on-demand sessions that focus on work-life balance, managing difficult conversations with your manager, career progression and development, understanding your sort of worth. And it's kind of all the key things that when we did a bit of a survey with all kind of the mums and dads that have returned, kind of the key things that they wanted us to focus on. There's a paternity one as well. So we've got on-demand workshops. We've also got a buddy program. So one thing that I found really useful is I was speaking to a lady called Stephanie, and she really helped me being able to sort of just offload my concerns, my worries, or anything like that. And she'd been in a similar situation, so she could totally, you know, relate to what I was saying. So I wanted to create a buddy program so that when you came back, you could sign up to get a buddy who's been back at work for 2 years prior, which means that they've been through a similar situation. They know how it feels. They can talk to you, have coffee mornings or like virtual sessions where you could just be like, look, this is going on at the moment. How did you approach this? Did you feel like this when I came back? You know, and just have that somebody that's been there and done it. So for me, I was really passionate about launching the buddy program. We've also got, I wanted to make sure that we had a lot of mental health support on there because I think that's extremely important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we've also got just loads of Sky benefits on there. I'm trying to think what else there is now, actually.
Good that there's that much you have to.
Yeah,
you know,
and then
recommend.
we've got, so I've created a manager section as well. So on there, it's got a checklist on there. It's got information about the buddy program. It's got the assisted program on there as well if they've got any questions. But that's really the signpost to all sort of the Sky Life policies and documents and stuff. So anything you could possibly need will hopefully be on this site.
Fabulous.
Honestly,
let me
that's
know.
perfect. No,
I was
that's
just about to ask what you thought of that.
I was going to
Molly.
say, yeah, no. Jumping ahead of the gun there, yeah. No, absolutely perfect, because that is the type of stuff that you need, because although it's like all well and good, sort of like asking friends and things like that, but maybe if you're not that confident, or maybe it's a
Exactly.
case of you haven't got anyone around you that's been through it before or anything like that, it's a nice place to go where you'll get all the answers, you'll get all the information. So
Yeah.
I love that.
And I think the buddy program, so we launched it last year, back end of last year, and it's been really successful because I think it just gives the opportunity to not only build up your network, but just talk to somebody at work. Like, you can't just switch off your personal life when you come into work, it's impossible. And it's nice to know that there are people that have been in the same situation, have returned to work, had all those emotions that you can just talk to and be like, and from a different team as well. So you kind of, it's confidential, and it's a nice opportunity to know that you're not by yourself. Gives you a bit more confidence as well.
I think that's amazing to know there's someone 2 years down the line that can pretty much foresee all of the emotions you're going to go through, that can effectively support you. That's incredible.
And we do
Amazing.
it for dads as well, and non-binary, just to make sure, because when you come back from paternity leave, it's the same situation. You're going through the same thing. You might be absolutely knackered because you're trying to get to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you've been up since 4 o'clock trying to support, your partner. So you need to factor those elements into it as well, which is why we've obviously got that on there as well.
Fabulous. Excellent. Molly, you've heard loads of advice in terms of all the support that's there. I've got a sort of 2 questions in one for you at the moment. So
Okay.
the first one is, what advice would you give for expectant parents
Okay.
that's out there at the moment? But also, what's exciting you most about becoming a parent?
So I'll answer sort of the second part first, just because it's probably easier in terms of like the training of thought and stuff. Like, in terms of like the excitement there, it's just a completely different journey. So I think for me, it's like I've always quite like new challenges in a sense, let's say. And I think sort of went to uni and then stuck at Sky, wanted to see where my Sky journey would go. So I decided to sort of park what my degree was in and stuff like that and focus on Sky. And now I think it's just a whole new journey, but that can run parallel to my career. So it's not like I'm having to necessarily trade that in and do one or the other. I can run them both parallel, but it's like a nice new challenge. But also, I'll have a little sort of mini me running around, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
I'll not
I mean,
answer
I'll
that, Molly.
take it. I think many people would probably agree. It's not a great thing, but no, it's just exciting. It's like the fact that then I'm the start of this whole new life's journey as well, because I'll be their mum, and obviously they'll have so much support around them and stuff like that. But I think going back to the other question you asked about sort of other people and that sort of expecting like the advice you would give, we really just don't be afraid. Like, ask as many questions as you can. Like, I know people say like, oh no, questions are stupid question and stuff, but genuinely it isn't. When you're in this situation, especially if you're a first time parent, you're not going to have a clue what's going on. I didn't. There were so many things where I was like texting my mum, I was texting like other people I knew at work and that had been through it, that I'm like, is this normal? And things like that. And because realistically, you could go on Google, but it's going to send you on a rabbit hole of stuff. And it's like, we all know when you've Googled your symptoms, you've got a bit of a runny nose and then it tells you the worst.
You need to
like,
go to hospital straight away.
yeah, exactly. So just
Seconds to live.
do not Google any sort of pregnancy symptoms unless you want the worst there, because it's going to tell you to go away and eat like straight away. But it's just asking that advice, making sure that you're not alone and stuff. But I think even sort of announcing it and things like that, just go for it, because once you do it, it's like such a weight lifted off your shoulders. So don't feel like, oh, do I have to keep this like a secret, or how's like my manager going to take it and stuff like that? Just absolutely go for it, because from my experience anyway, like everybody took it so positively and they gave me so much positivity and kindness that it just made me feel even sort of more excited and happier about it. Yeah.
And what memories does that bring back for you, Sabine, hearing that?
So, honestly, I just genuinely, I absolutely love being a mum. I feel like I found my purpose. I was never very maternal before. I was more obsessed with dogs. So if someone brought a dog into the office, I'd be like, oh my God, that's so cute. If someone brought a baby, I'd be like, oh. But being a mum has completely changed me for the positive. Like, I'm obsessed with him. Like, my husband is an incredible hands-on dad as well, which really helps. And we just have this incredible little bubble. And it's just, when you see them smile, and when you go and wake them up in the morning and they're like, Mummy, and you're just like, oh my God, like, you're literally their hero. Like, it's brilliant. You can do no wrong. But yeah, it's just, it's a whole different experience, but it just fills you with so much love. Like, it's amazing. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I love that.
I've got some additional questions. I might be going slightly off script here, but you've just reminded me of something, Sabine. You guys are fortunate enough to have partners with you to help
Yeah.
you through being a parent. I suppose this is a question for you, Sabine, for single parents out there, whether they've opted to adopt singly or they just have no option. What advice would you give to them actually?
I think it's reach out and communicate to the closest people to you. I think it's a difficult journey. Don't get me wrong. Like, I can say that it was incredible. There are lows to it as well. And I think, first of all, massive respect for people that do that, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know someone that's doing that, and I'm so proud of them. But I think it's communicate and talk to people that you're close to, because you do need that support, and your life is going to change, and you are going to need some help, and there is loads of help out there, but you've just got to make sure that you communicate, because if you don't, it's,
Yeah, absolutely. Communication is key.
yeah.
So they say. This is a bit of a selfish question for us leaders out there, but I'm sure there's people that is thinking this. You mentioned that there's obviously the checklist for leaders,
Yeah.
a checklist for returning employees. What's, I suppose, that best single piece of advice that you'd give to leaders to support people coming back in?
I think it's check in with them, find out, ask them, how are you? I think, you automatically assume because they've come back to work, they're just cracking on. You have no idea what's going on inside their brains. You don't know how many things are going through, their thought process. Ask them how they are. I think that's so important. And I think it's also, these, the mums and dads are going back to work, and there are going to be certain stressful situations, like, babies might still be waking up at God knows what time in the morning or throughout the night. They might be absolutely shattered. They might be really worried about their child in nursery. And I think it's just make sure that you're as flexible as you can be in terms of their work-life balance. Do they need to leave early to go to nursery? They might be too worried or too scared to ask you. There's certain things like that. Their life has changed for things like that. They do need to leave early to go to nursery. Just check in with them, find out how it's all going, and ask, where you can help.
Great advice. Fabulous. Molly, I'm going to flip it again. You know what I'm like. I go back and forth. So obviously I asked how excited you were earlier about becoming a parent. You got your nursery sorted this weekend. Is that right?
I did, yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Like, I mean, in both aspects, both nurseries. So the actual nursery that they're going to be going to in sort of a year's time, we've got that booked, players sorted there, but also the home nursery. It was, oh my goodness, mate, if you'd have seen it beforehand. Well, it started off as a dining room. It was red. I'll be honest with you, not a choice that I would have chosen anywhere within the sort of like, the window's not massive, so it was quite dark, but then it became a spare room, and then it was thinking, right, well, we can't have this really dark, sort of depressing red room, like, for the baby. It needs to be all bright,
so
uplifting,
aggressive, isn't it, red as well?
Heavy, isn't it?
Prop it in your face. I mean, it was like Coca-Cola red. It maybe even darker thinking back. I think, now I just picture the colour as it is now, but yeah, really exciting. It was like 4 days hard graft. I mean, I can't take credit for this. This was not me at all. It was all my partner, to be fair. Bless him. He was at every waking hour, to be fair, working on it, doing skip runs and stuff to get it all ready. But it's finally there, and now it's just a case of anytime I go into the shop and I see a new outfit, I'm like, right, in the basket, get it in the wardrobe, stock it up. Any little bit of space, nah, we need more.
And you're a couple of years down the line, I suppose, from that. Is there any do's and don't tips of nurseries for Molly?
So I got given a spreadsheet from one of my friends of the stuff to buy, and you end up wanting to buy like new stuff, but everything. The most expensive stuff he just wasn't even bothered about. I remember getting this like swinging automated rocking chair and put it in it, and every time he screams, and I was like, it's £200 down the drain. Then you sell it on like Facebook Marketplace for 50 quid, and you're like, that's a bargain.
That must hurt.
Yeah, it did. But I'd say, there's a few things that obviously you always want to buy beforehand, but I would say quite a lot of it, because they're not necessarily in the nursery straight away for the first 6 months or whatever. Hold off where you can, but I mean, you're never going to do that. No one's ever going to do that. But I used to buy so many outfits and then just fold them so neatly. It was so pretty. And then, now I'm just like throwing them all in. But I don't think I can give you any advice on that. I'd just say, just go crazy. It's your first. Crack on.
Definitely, any spare change is going on the baby now, to be honest with you. Who needs new clothes?
Oh, exactly. My husband used to be like, he was always like, what's this parcel that's just turned off? I was like, oh, but look at this. And he's like, you've literally got about 10. Not in this colour. Not in this colour. Look at this. And then he's just like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, it's an essential. Apparently it's really good. And they'll never say no. So yeah,
I mean,
embrace it.
my top tip, and I'm not a parent, is Vinted. Saves my life.
I'm selling everything now on Vinted.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Have had a look, to be fair. Yeah.
In terms of key takeaways, what would your key takeaways be from the discussion so far, Molly?
Really, all the information that you've sort of provided about what's to come in sort of a year's time for me, really, because although I kind of had a little bit of a rough idea, I didn't know there was as much as you sort of explained there with coming back, and really how important it is to sort of start looking like early on, to be honest with you, and start sort of educating yourself, because I think really it's going to be me and sort of the child, and yes, sort of my fellow will be there for the paternity side of things for a few of the weeks, but a big part of maternity is going to be sort of me and the baby. And
Love it.
I guess, I mean, it'll be amazing. It might be lonely at times, which is that's when you've said, really, it's like communicate with people.
Yeah.
Start talking about it sort of a bit before you come back to work, and then you feel ready. And I think that's really important, because I hadn't really thought about how much information out there is at Sky, and there is as ample of it. So no, thank you for sort of educating me on that as well.
It's such a great point. I suppose in summary, Sabine, why is it so important that obviously Sky do provide all of this support for returning parents?
I just think it's a change in life. Like, you just need to get with it. Like, it's really important.
Get with the programme.
Get with the programme. It's like you're coming back after such a long time off, and your whole life is completely changed. Support that. Like, it's just really important. And I think, in terms of your maternity leave, just have the best time, like fully embrace it, go on all the like lunch dates, and, if you want to have a cry halfway through it, do it, but it is like, it's an emotional roller coaster, but it's fantastic and it's amazing. And I'd say just completely enjoy it, have the best time, but then just know that when you're coming back to work, there is a programme in place. It's there to support you. Try not to worry about it till nearer the time, and then check out the website, have a look on it, look at all the resources, check out the Undermine workshops. So when you come back, you know that you've got a buddy that's lined up, you've got that support, you've got your manager in check with a checklist.
I think Molly has anyway, yeah, with me anyway.
But I think it's just, there is this structure now that's in place, and it's big and it's growing. And by the time you come back, I mean, we've launched these returners coffee mornings. So every quarter now, anyone that comes back from maternity leave has this welcome back session. And it's all about understanding what's happened in the business the last year, what the business is focusing on now, what's available in terms of policies, hybrid working, resources, more in depth about the returners programme. And then you get like a lunch networking session. So everyone there, is in the same situation. You can start chatting, you can build your network up and stuff like that. So that's something that we've trialed out in May, and we're going to continue to roll out. So there is a massive support network there, and it will continue to grow. But just enjoy it. Like, enjoy being pregnant, and have the best maternity leave, and just know that we've got your back when you come back. Don't worry.
Fabulous advice. And in terms of all of that support, where would people go to get that?
So it's the Parents and Carers Network site on SharePoint. If you could just click on there, and then you just go to the returners section, we've got a whole entire site on there that's got everything you could need. And anything that's not on there, let me know. I can add it.
Amazing.
Fabulous. Excellent. Great advice. It's great for me as a non-parent, if that's the right terminology, just to hear all of this advice coming from both angles as well, in terms of support, both from just a person. Because as a leader, it's so, because you don't know everything as well.
I think that's it. And also, we've got to remember that some leaders don't have, they're not parents.
Yes, it's the
so
same,
if you're not parents, it's not that you don't get it. It's just you've not been in that situation. So it's like, don't set them up to fail already. If you give them the resources, you've got that opportunity to support them as well. And I think before we lacked that. But it is like,
I love how passionate you are.
I just want to change it.
Yeah.
I don't believe that anybody should come back and feel like they're not fully supported, especially when it's such a life change. Like, you should come back and feel, especially in an organisation like this, that they've got your back.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to change.
Probably one of the most vulnerable moments of your life as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
If not the.
Yeah. They say a lot of mums get postnatal depression as they come back to work. And that's something that you always need to kind of keep an eye on and show yourself in on.
Yeah.
So.
Another exciting part of the podcast is we always ask our guests on this occasion random questions from previous podcasters. So, Molly, I'm going to come to you for this one. So,
Okay.
imagine you were on a desert island. I mean, how fabulous, first up.
Oh,
But what would the one item...
Shouldn't say that.
What would the one item be that you couldn't go without?
That is actually a really tricky one, right? Because I feel like you get asked this all the time, and it probably changes different times during my life. Can I say if pre-pregnancy to what it would be now?
Go for
Can I
it.
be a bit cheeky and change the rules
Absolutely.
there? This is going to sound really, really bad, but honestly, pre-pregnancy, if I can speak properly, it would have been me vape because I couldn't go anywhere without it. But thankfully,
Hey, reality, yeah.
thankfully, this amazing miracle
Priorities.
has made literally has helped me to quit that nasty habit. So, and I think post pregnancy, after going, I'll be dead corny. I'll have to say family.
Oh.
Yeah. All them listeners now thinking, yeah, of course.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Sabine, I'm going to transport you literally into a different reality, or maybe
Okay.
I'm not. Imagine you were a WWE wrestler. You're coming into the ring. What would your entrance music be? I know that is random, eh? That is really
Do you know
random.
what? I'm gonna have to go with a song that the girls on the hen do were just obsessed with. When it came on at my wedding day, all the girls got on the dance floor, and I just feel like it's a bit of a badass song. Timber.
We're going timber.
Yeah, exactly.
Love.
It's going down. See, I think it'd be that. It's like, yeah, it's got many memories, that song. I'm gonna go with that
Mr.
one.
Worldwide.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
That
it.
song
Can't beat a bit
actually
of that.
reminds me of being in Portugal, and the bars had the songs on a loop, and they were about like 5 minutes behind. So every bar I got to was like
Timber every time.
timber
Ah.
and starships.
They're
That's
good
actually-
dancing songs,
Yeah.
though, I have to admit. When we were at the
Absolutely.
wedding and it came on and I was outside, some of the girls were like, Sabine, get out of the dance floor. Suddenly I thought I was like the best dancer in the world and like rocked out some moves. And then you look at the videos a few days back and you're like, oh, God. But yeah, it was brilliant. So yeah, I'm going timber.
Fabulous, love it.
Love it.
Well, interestingly, we had a similar conversation actually this morning, Molly.
Yeah, we
Things
do
you
it.
chat on in a 3-hour train journey, especially when it's delayed.
Yeah.
So for me, the thing I would take, and this is unlimited for me actually, on a desert island, would be music. Like my life, literally,
Oh.
yeah, it's just music. Yeah, I don't quite understand those people that don't get music.
That's
Yeah.
a good one, though.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah,
Shuffle it for your mood.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Loads of genres. That's it for me anyway. Sabine, Molly, thank you so much for that. I've taken so much valuable information, both from a leader and just a nice human point of view. Sabine, fantastic to meet you in person. Molly, good to see you again. Guys, thank you so much. The parents and carers link will be in the comment section. We will also be taking a summer's holiday from Talking About. However, we will be back soon. My name is Keven Barker McGill. Thank you very much.